So hope you have a better understanding on how to attempt multiple choice question from the topic on plant transport system. So right now we're going to take a look at the open-ended question from the plant transport system, and here we go. In this question, it says that an experiment was conducted on a plant. The outer ring of the plant was removed from the stem as shown in the diagram below. A week later, the stem became swollen. And it says part A, explain why the parts P and Q had become swollen. Now this is a 2-mark question, so obviously there's going to be lots of keywords that need you to actually take note of. But before that, remember I shared with you that the very first thing to do MCQ question or open-ended question is to always identify the key information. So we have here the important key information that has been given to us is actually the outer ring of the stem was removed. Ta-da! So this is a very important key information. In fact, it is a hint for us and lead us to the answer. And the next important key information is that the moment the outer ring was removed, the stem became swollen. And the next important information is that the question is asking us, so why did it become swollen? The part at P and Q, why did it become swollen? Now, is this question a little bit familiar as the previous question that I have went through? So the previous question is also talking about the outer part that has been removed, and then all of a sudden, the stem has swelled on the part that was actually removed. So similarly, in this question, it says the outer ring of the plant was removed and the stem became swollen. So in this, we want to revise the concept again, which is we-fold. Now, do you remember what is we-fold? I'm going to give you 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yes, you got it right. So we-fold is water on the inside and food on the outside. Meaning to say that the water carrying tube is formed on the inside and the food carrying tube is formed on the outside. So in other words, do you remember another word for water carrying tube is known as the xylem tube? And another word for food carrying tube is the phloem. So if you want to remember this clearly, you can use this creative method to actually help you, because we-fold can clearly help you to identify which part of the outer ring has been cut or has been removed. In this case, it says the outer ring of the plant was removed. So obviously under we-fold, it is under the food carrying tube because food carrying tube is on the outer part of the ring. Now what have we learned from the previous question? We learned that even though when you remove the outer ring of the plant can still survive, because the outer ring of the plant that has been removed will only affect the food made by the leaf that will be transported down to other parts of plant that will be affected. Now, but in this case, how is this question different from the previous question? Well, sometimes when you are doing plant transport system, you realize that the question will repeat by itself. Now, take note, the more question you do from plant transport system, the greater exposure you have in terms of the different type of question. So the difference between this question and the previous MCQ question is that this question, this plant involves 2 parts that is swollen. So as you can see, part P and part Q was actually swollen. But in the previous question, there's only one part, which is the above the cut region, that was actually swollen. So in this case, we want to use back with evidence information, which is our BlueTree signature, and of course confirming the concept. So in this case, we just need an evidence. But before that, remember the concept. The moment you remove the food carrying tube, then the food made by the leaf cannot be transported down to other parts of the plant, whether it is the leaf that is at the top or the leaves at the bottom. Now in this case, do you realize that in the diagram there is 2 position of the leaves? One is at the upper branch and the other one is at the lower branch. So how do we answer this question is we need to have an evidence first. Evidence will be the food carrying tube at P and Q are removed. because it's clearly said that the outer part of the ring will remove. So right now, we want to confirm the concept. So in this case, we know that the food made by the leaf at the upper branch, which is here, which I use my laser pointer, cannot be transported to below P. And also the food made by the lower branch, can you see the lower branch also have leaves? So the leaves that make food cannot be transported upwards to above Q. As such, there's a two-way food transport system here. One is going downward and the other one is going upwards. So as such, because the outer part of the stem of the ring was actually removed, so the food carrying tube was then accumulated at the top here and at the bottom here, and that resulted in a swell. So in conclusion, we say that food is accumulated at P and Q, which resulted P and Q to be swollen. So the one interesting part about this question is that, take note, most of the time the question will ask you only one part, which is the outer part of one ring is actually swollen. But in this case, there is two parts, P and Q. So one of the concept is you just have to know that the leaves make food. So the leaf uses its chlorophyll to make food by trapping light. So since the upper branch have leaves and the lower branch also have leaves, and since the food carrying tube was removed, right now the food carrying tube, the food that's transported by the leaves on the upper branch and the lower branch cannot be transported upwards and downwards. As such, it resulted in a swell. So this is a very interesting question because it involves two parts of the leaves that is transporting food to the other parts of the plant. So do take some time to digest this question. Go ahead and pause, go ahead and rewind to recap this question together.